Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about automatic Galician subtitles towards the creation of a live subtitling tool. This is a communication by María Rico Vázquez, Laura Docio Fernández, and Carmen García Mateo. The logos of GALMA, Multimedia Technology Group, and University of Vigo are included in this first slide. So, the current increase in audiovisual material production has contributed to the implementation of live subtitling as an effective way to access that material. Speech recognition technology plays a fundamental role here because it allows capturing the original words and transform them into written text. As a consequence, significant technological research is being carried out in order to produce better software. And nowadays, the automation of the real-time subtitling process is being explored as a feasible option, as it is the case in Spain. Apart from Spanish, which is the official language, 4 co-official languages coexist in Spain. One of them is Galician. Even though the number of Galician speakers has been reduced during the last years, especially among the youth, and its presence in mass media is quite limited, Galician is still considered as a vehicular language by a high percentage of the population in this region. In this context, GALMA and the Multimedia Technology Group, both from the University of Vigo, collaborate on the development of a speech recognition software for live subtitling in Galician language, in order to promote access to audiovisual media in Galicia. For that purpose, a first prototype of an automatic speech recognition application was developed. The interface can be seen on the screen. The text can be extracted from 2 possible sources, a recording or an audio file. In both cases, the resulting text is emailed to the user after being processed by the machine. Here we have to emphasize the impact of language models, which is essential to ensure quality in final text. In turn, for these models to improve, the software needs to be trained with correct and good quality texts. It is also important to note that at this stage, the text generated by the software does not include punctuation marks or capital letters, and the text has no subtitle format, but bigger blocks of text are produced instead. The pilot test involved the analysis of 21 audio samples of news programs, all of them aired by the Galician public TV channel. To be more specific, 7 samples belong to the news section, 7 samples belong to the weather section, and the final 7 samples belong to the sports section. All these samples were analyzed following the NER model in order to assess the quality of the resulting written text. As no human being was involved in the process but the machine itself, edition errors were removed from the equation in this case. In this slide, initial results can be observed. Having analyzed the 21 samples, we can say that most errors would not affect viewers' comprehension. They are minor errors. Unclear speech creates errors that may affect comprehension. This is standard errors. And there are only few serious errors that omit information or misinform the viewer. As a result, the average accuracy rate is quite below the quality threshold that the NER model establishes as the minimum to be considered of acceptable quality. This is 98%. We have said before that the software does not have a punctuation system yet. So, how would these results change if punctuation errors were not taken into account? We can see it now with this table. Punctuation errors represent a large percentage of the total errors, especially minor errors, which are significantly reduced. Whereas more severe errors, this is standard, and serious ones, are slightly reduced. From this new perspective, the average accuracy rate improves considerably. But we can go beyond these results, and we can exclude both punctuation and capitalization errors. In that case, more errors would disappear, mainly those related to capital letters in proper names or place names, for example, in the weather section, or names of players or teams in the sports section, etc. We can observe minimal changes in more severe errors, in standard and serious errors. They remain almost unchanged, and the average accuracy rate almost reaches the quality threshold. In fact, the news section and the weather section would have already reached the 98% if that was the case. So, we have seen that most errors are minor, so they should not affect viewers' comprehension. However, a large number of minor errors in a sentence or in a text may hinder reading and/or understanding. The number of serious errors is low. This means that original ideas are always or almost always present in written text. But we have observed quite a few standard errors, which may disrupt the meaning or the flow of the original text and might cause surprise among the viewers. We've seen that this is a quite sensitive software since most words are recognized, but the problem here arises when not only words but other sounds are also recognized or misrecognized. This applies, for example, to songs or any other kind of noise or background noise. Therefore, recognition should be further improved at this point. On the other hand, the software is not ready to be used nowadays for subtitling provision through respeaking. It needs to be useful in live contexts, and it is not nowadays, and it also needs to recognize punctuation marks and capital letters. However, it could be used for subtitling provision with human post-editing. Of course, punctuation and capitalization must be implemented as well, but the issue here is the time to correct mistakes. Let's say that 10 seconds are needed to correct a mistake, more or less. Following the results obtained, the post-editor would have to invest around 50 minutes to correct a 10-minute sample with all errors included. Around 30 minutes if punctuation marks were excluded, and around 20 minutes if both punctuation and capitalization errors were excluded. Therefore, this editing effort should be taken into account or when considering the possibilities of this software with such a purpose, with the purpose of subtitling provision with human post-editing. Just to sum up, we have been talking about a speech recognition software, which is the first attempt to promote access to audiovisual media in Galicia through live subtitling. It is a good recognizer. It has proved to be a good recognizer for pre-recorded files, even though some aspects should be improved. For example, punctuation, capitalization, the amount of text displayed, or the recognition itself. Subtitling provision through respeaking is not feasible yet, but post-edition would be a possibility to start using this software in the short or medium term in real contexts. However, it is essential a commitment to minority languages by subtitling providers, and it's also very important to have more material to feed and train the recognizer. There is a low presence of audiovisual and textual material in Galician right now, and this prevents technological progress in terms of speech technology. Finally, further work is needed to improve the performance of the software and therefore to enhance access to to Galician audiovisual content. We have started to work with a tool that seems to have a promising future, and we will try to make the most of it. That's all. Thank you very much for your attention.